Hello, CMBA members. Thank you for watching this video. I have with me one of our esteemed business affiliate members, Joe Salem, who's a managing associate financial advisor with Lifetime Financial Growth, which is a representative of Guardian. He has brought to the CMBA a new individual disability insurance program, which is a member benefit. So we wanted to talk through what that is and what that could mean for you as our member. So, Joe, can you tell me a little bit more about the program and why it is important?
Absolutely. And thanks for having me. Well, I'm sure everybody understands, your income is very important to lifestyle for you and your family. It's the biggest asset that anybody will ever have. And unfortunately, it's probably one of the least thought about assets in terms of protection. Every other asset that somebody has in their lifetime is going to be solely dependent upon continuing to receive their income throughout their careers. So there's a little feature called cognitive dissonance, a little psychology term, which means that we often do things very in contrary to what our belief system is. Most people know that their health is not guaranteed. And most people know that there's a chance that they'll become sick or injured, but they don't act to protect against that risk. And this program was put into place so that we can help the members of the CMBA understand the magnitude of that risk and how to actually protect against it. And while at the same time, getting that at a discount. So the nice thing about this program is it offers a permanent discount for these policies that they can put into place. So as long as they have it, that discount is in place, whether they stay a member of the CMBA or not. Hopefully they will always stay a member.
Absolutely.
But yeah, just to expand on that though, 1 in 4 people, a lot of people don't realize this, 1 in 4 people in their careers, when they start their career, the odds are 25% that they'll experience a disability in their careers. And for most people, that disability, about 90% of those claims that are filed are due to an illness, not an injury. And what a lot of attorneys have said to me over my career in objection to this kind of coverage is that, the law is not a physical taxing profession, right? I could do this in most situations. So why do I need to have this coverage? But one of the things we have to remember is when you're in the legal profession, in a very large part, you are in a sales profession. You have to gain the confidence of the client to make sure that that client is going to use you for their services. And if you're sick and you're going through some sort of illness and you look like you are unable to perform your duties to the best of your capacity, is that client going to choose you? Or are they going to go somewhere else? And that will result in reduced income over your career. Even if you are still working, you may take a significant reduction in that income due to this disability. And the other thing that I always say is, why would you want to do that? If you're fighting some kind of illness, don't you want to focus on getting better? Don't you want to put your time and energy rather than being stressed about your finances and stressed about work? Get rid of that stress, focus on getting better. So those are some of the reasons that this is very important for every attorney to look at.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Can you give us an example of like the magnitude of what that risk could be?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. If you could bear with me while I share my screen here, I will show you something that I put together for this purpose. Should be seeing that up on the screen now.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
A couple scenarios. I've got 2 different scenarios here, different kinds of attorneys that might be looking into this. Number 1 is an attorney who is employed either at a private institution or corporation or through a firm. And in that case, oftentimes they have a group plan in place. Their employer, I should say, has a group plan in place to provide them with some coverage if a disability were to happen. And unfortunately, when somebody is in that situation, it can lead to a false sense of security because they believe they have protection, but they don't really understand how much protection. So as you can see from scenario number one, I'm showing an attorney with, say, a base salary of $180,000, and then that same attorney getting a $20,000 annual bonus based on their performance. Now, on top of that, they're receiving other compensation from their employer. They're contributing 5% with a 5% match to their 401k. That's another $10,000 that they're receiving from the employer. As well, their medical, dental, vision benefits, and other employer-based benefits. There's an employer portion that's paid for that they pay. And then the employer portion of the Medicare and Social Security tax is also something that is lost and uncovered by the long-term disability plan. So most of these long-term disability plans that are group-based benefits only cover your base salary, none of your actual bonus. Now, if you get a 60% group LTD benefit, 60% replacement without a cap to it. Now, a lot of these plans put a cap in place. So as you can see, I calculated out 60% of a base salary of 180 is 108. But if you have a cap of $7,000, that means that you're not getting 108. You're only getting a monthly benefit of $7,000 or $84,000 annually. So it could be an even bigger loss. But you can see here all the things that you do lose, even though you're getting that 60%. So when you compare the total income that is received, total income in benefits and everything combined, to what you're actually getting, it's much, much less than 60%. And then you have to ask yourself, can my family really survive if I have to now pick up benefits individually at 100% of the cost? If I have to now pay both the employer and employee side of FICA taxes? All of that weighs in because that $108,000 benefit that they might be getting is still income taxable. So there's the net bring home could be significantly less than the 60% that you thought you had. And then in scenario number two, obviously, if you're working at a small firm or a solo practitioner, there's no group plan in place, then your loss is 100% if you're out on a disability. And can your family really survive if you have 100% loss of income? Or even the scenario up on top, you have to ask yourself if that's viable.
Got it. Thank you so much for this visual. This is helpful. All right, my final question. So what are some key things to look for when you are putting your policy in place?
Well, as most attorneys should know, language is very important. So when you look at a contract, you want to make sure that the language contained in the base contract is the strongest language you can get. There's just in the definition of what is a disability that determines whether you're eligible to receive this benefit or not. There's a range that these insurance policies will give you that goes from an own occupation definition to an any occupation definition. So the difference between those, own occupation says that you're going to be considered totally disabled if solely due to sickness or injury, you're unable to perform the material and substantial duties of your specific occupation. Any occupation says that you have to be unable to perform the significant duties of any occupation, any job that exists out there in the world that you may be qualified for through your training and education and physical abilities. Now, lawyers are highly educated, so there's not a lot of jobs that they wouldn't be qualified for through education. And you have to say that, if there's a job out there where you sit on a stool and push a shopping cart in front of somebody and say, welcome to Walmart, that job exists, that insurance company can say, well, you don't qualify under the any occupation definition. So when you find coverage, you want to make sure you have the best language possible. Now, what we've put together is this discount program with Guardian. Guardian actually takes the any occupation definition one step further, and they say that as long as you're unable to do the significant duties of your specific occupation, they don't care if you get another job in another occupation. So you can still supplement your disability income through a working position in another occupation. As long as you're not doing the same thing you were doing, then they allow you to go ahead and do that. So that makes that contract one of the strongest in the industry. And that's why we chose Guardian for this program. The other things that you want to have is make sure that in your contract that it is both non-cancelable and guaranteed renewable. And what that means is when you have both of those as part of your contract, the insurance company is not allowed to make any changes to your policy once it is put in place. They cannot change your premiums. They cannot cancel the coverage. They can't do anything unless you request it. So as long as you make the premium payments, that contract stays the same. And it doesn't matter if your health changes, your premiums stay the same for the entire time you have that contract. So that's an important feature to have as well. There are several others that we can go into, as well as some riders that you can add to it to cover things like student loan debt, which for a lot of young attorneys is very important and daunting, because those can be some big numbers. You can make other additions to the policies with riders to cover a lot of other different things as well. But we won't go into all of that right now. But it is important to sit down with somebody to help you structure it to the way that you want it.
Great. Okay, before we wrap up, is there anything else you would like the members to know today?
Well,
We've covered a lot.
Yeah, we've covered a lot in a short amount of time, but just want the members to know that I'm always available to help them and guide them through this. My goal is really to make sure that they have exactly what they're looking for in the plan they choose. So make sure the most important things are put into place in the best way possible. And if you think that, okay, well, I'm just getting started in my law career, I don't know if I could really swing this, there are a lot of programs out there that we can put into place to give you maybe a graded premium. So you start off with much smaller premium dollars and it will go up over time. And as your income increases, then you can level it off when you feel like your practice is built to the way that you want it to. But just keep in mind that I'm here to help you and advise you to make sure that all of those key factors are put in place. So please feel welcome to reach out to me at any time. jsalem@capitalplanners.com is the easiest way, but I welcome communications via text and cell as well. And my number's out there on the website.
I was just going to say, yeah, for further questions, we've got Joe's info on the website. A lot of you know me. You can always contact me too if you need help. And this will be available to watch again, so you can learn more, or like Joe said, contact him for further clarification or any questions you have. Thank you so much, Joe, for coming to us with this program, and I hope you as our members take advantage.
Thank you very much.